our first speaker with some welcoming remarks, and she's actually our department head here for Bioagricultural Sciences and Pest Management, Dr. Amy Czarkowski, a plant pathologist by trade, but department head as well.
All right, thank you. So I'd like to give a sincere thank you to Corteva for sponsoring the series, and also for BSPM and Bayer Crop Science for also helping to sponsor today's events. So I wanted to take this chance to introduce you a little bit to our department here at CSU. So we are a combined department with plant pathology, entomology, and weed science. And we also have people who look at abiotic plant stresses, specifically drought. We have about 55 grad students, and the grad students organized today's event. So thank you also to them for taking this leadership. We have about 25 minors, and we're about to start an undergrad major that we'll be calling agricultural biology. So we're a small department. We have about half the number of plant pathologists and half the number of entomologists as our peer universities, but we punch way above our weight, as does CSU. So for example, CSU is routinely number 1 or number 2 in the amount of NIFA funding, and CSU this year was number 3 for the number of pre-doc fellows from NIFA, and most of those came to our department, so, which was incredible. In fact, I was so shocked I thought they'd made a mistake. Because we kept finding out that we were getting these fellowships one at a time, and we thought there's no way that this many came to our department, but they did, so congratulations to the students. So having this department that looks at all of the types of biotic and abiotic stresses that plants can face, it means that we can really look at systems approaches, and we can look at synergies, and I think that's something that we'll be seeing here today with the talks. And the other thing I wanted to mention is one of my advisors used to routinely challenge us to be able to say why what we did was important, because we aren't neurosurgeons, we're not curing cancer, so why does it matter what we do? And I think we see that every day now. When we look at the news, we can see major articles that touch on what we do. When we think about history, we can think, the things that we study impacted where people live and how people move around the globe. So just as a couple of examples, food security is the main example, right? Everything that we do touches what we had for breakfast today. We're looking to try to double food production by 2050. A large step in that can be made by just managing plant diseases and insect problems and weeds. We, in the West in particular, are concerned about water resources and fires, right? And how we manage weeds and how we manage insects and plant pests impact those things dramatically. So food security, water resources, fire, and just general health of us and our environment. So how we manage quarantine pathogens, epidemics, invasive species can make a difference between whether we have healthy cattle, whether we even have trees, right, to look at. It's all impacted by what we do. So I think when I look at the speakers here today, I can see all of those issues touched on this. And so I'm really looking forward to today. And I want to welcome you and also apologize because I have to run out just for an hour to go to an interview seminar. We are bringing in a new director of extension, engagement, and online programs. Can you imagine the size of that job? Right? And so the last interview is today. That impacts our department significantly, so I really want to see that one. Anyway, I again welcome you, and thank you again to everyone who made today possible.
And you want this book? Yes.
Okay, thank you, Amy. Our next speaker is from Corteva. He's going to kind of introduce our symposium series, give a little introduction to what that is. And it's Craig Alford. He's with his position as Western Corn Integrated Field Science Leader, and he's out of Johnston, Iowa. And so I'd like to welcome Craig.
Okay, thanks, Shannon. So just really quickly, I wanted to give everybody a bit of an update as to what this symposium series is about that Corteva sponsors all around the world, and give you a bit of a brief introduction to that. First, one of the first questions we probably get, what's Corteva and where did it come from? And just really quickly, back in 2017 we had Dow and DuPont merge. And then just earlier this year, that company, the combined company, then split into three, which with the agricultural business of the two combined companies now becoming Corteva, which is now a standalone company that you can see listed on the New York Stock Exchange and everything. So that's sort of where Corteva came from. And the ag legacy companies that you see fit into that would be Dow AgroSciences, DuPont Crop Protection, Pioneer, and Granular, which is a digital space company. So that's what we've all combined into to become Corteva now. So one thing with Corteva, we really have taken a lot of time and effort to sort of work with and collaborate outside the company, or what we would say bring the outside in. And we do this through a number of different forms. We have an open innovation forum, which I'll touch on here in a minute as well, which allows us to collaborate with external partners in a variety of functions there. We have different, these new frontier series that we put together. We recently had one looking at just processes for new products, natural products that we can bring into the market and how that process can work. We have a vast array of internship programs across the company that again can work with students all across the company and country in a variety of different functions. And then obviously the plant science symposium series that we do as well. First on the open innovation things, you can see here basically these are individual projects that we put together with potential of up to $50,000 funding per project, typically lasting about a 12-month timeline, and it's just opportunities for additional collaboration around those. These are open to scientists at universities, small companies, just startups, non-for-profits. Anybody can participate in this. One example that was done a little while ago was looking for a method to analyze corn stalk integrity in the field without being destructive. So different things, if anyone is interested in that, you can go to the openinnovation.corteva.com to see those variety of projects. But again, number of different things that we're looking at across a wide array of things that would fit into the sort of the agricultural space. Now the Plant Science Symposium Series, as I said, we do these all over the world. You can see a list of some of the universities that we've worked with. We have conducted one here at CSU probably 3 or 4 years ago, primarily focused a little bit more around drought and how that can impact agriculture. But you can see this group now is part of this network all around the world. So I think that's something to be proud of, be part of that, and to continue the legacy here at CSU. So really the objective of this series is to empower future plant scientists around the world, and through a number of different ways, through learning, just being able to connect everybody and learn about new and current sort of scientific methods, projects, and different things that are going on. It's obviously networking, a chance to bring a group together like we have here today. So I always tell a lot of students that I talk to around the country, build your network as much as you can, and these really allow a great opportunity for things like that. Career development, similar along those lines, ability to see and meet different people from public and private sector as we put these symposiums together, a great networking opportunity. And then also just an opportunity for leadership, as they'll touch on here in a second. All of these symposiums, Corteva just provides some seed funding, and then it's completely up to the graduate students to organize the event, decide the speakers, decide the topics, and all that sort of thing. So just going through that process, it's a great sort of leadership development program as well. So as I said, we basically provide a base support for the event, and then really turn it over to the grad students to organize. We do offer the opportunity to provide speakers. Obviously, with a company the length and breadth of Corteva, typically we can find some leading scientists within the company that can discuss relevant topics. And then from an implementation standpoint, the students are free to choose what they would like to as far as topics and speakers, decide the budget, how it's going to be divided up and used, and then, yeah, just really the whole event planning and logistics comes into there as well. As far as these symposiums, you can see sort of a word cloud that's been put together in the past about sort of what's been the primary topics on these, and you'll see lots of things around breeding, genetics, genome, all those sort of things. I would have to tell you, today is the first one of these symposiums that we've been involved with that's really focused on crop protection. And that was one of the things as we came together as Corteva was we wanted to expand that outside of the more traditional sort of plant breeding genetic space. So it provided a great opportunity working with the students here to really kick this off and really start down the road with a sort of a more of a crop protection orientation to one of these symposiums. So maybe sometime down the road here we'll have a little bit more of a crop protection angle as we build these out. But again, really it's a great sort of start to move this down a little bit different direction than we've done with some others in the past as well. The networking, as I said, all around the world, you can become, as we put these together, it's a network, and feel free to connect with different schools and students that have hosted these before, and just build that network again. It's a great chance to collaborate. As we work through the symposiums, you can see as far as presentations, who's been able to present these. You can see the vast majority, or a little over half, of being university speakers, but then also private sector folks. So obviously there's some Corteva involvement, but also just like we have today, folks from other companies that will present, and again be able to provide current and sort of leading edge information to students as we go through these. And then other government entities, non-for-profits and everything. But you can see a broad background of speakers that typically are involved with these symposium. Again, it's a great opportunity for leadership. This is some of the different schools and groups that have put together symposiums. And yeah, the key is here, you see it's all the students that are leading this effort. We also, within Corteva, we do have a sort of a student advisory council that helps guide some of this, provide a lot of input to Jason and Tabor, who run the program for Corteva, but again, opportunities to get involved there as well. We do have a LinkedIn network, so if anyone would like to or has an interest in seeing some posts and whatnot there, you can see the information to post there. And then just really quickly, the final piece is you can go onto the symposium webpage and see all the past events and future events that are actually up there. You will see we are in the process of getting a Corteva version as we go through the final stages of all that merger fun and activity. We're slowly getting everything caught up, but there will be a Corteva version of this up here very shortly. Prior to this, Pioneer was sort of within the legacy companies, that's who sort of ran this effort, and hence more the breeding and genetics focus, but really trying to shift that. But if anyone's interested, feel free to go take a look and see what's there. And with that, I do want to say thanks and really appreciate the opportunity to be here. And I'll get out of the way and get off to the relevant topics of the day. So thanks again.